When you're trying to develop a farm into a tourist attraction, there are some resources you should probably turn to first. Your animals and your crops. So yeah, so far we've turned stables into a park entrance. We've added in a bunch of rides for guests to enjoy. But now it's time to actually use the assets that we have and put in some sort of petting zoo. I'm sure there's some kind of second Khalees joke to be made about the visit to the cowshed. Hello you guys, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Farmington Fields, a series so good Six Flags want to tear it down without telling anybody. And we are here in the Shiftzie Starter Park, which is a farm. We are building a farm park up over a number of seasons, and then we are going to tear it down and create something similar to Alton Towers. So it's a bit of a two-parter series. This is what we've got so far. I am still officially on holiday, but I am inspired to put the construction fences up one more time. So muscle memory is going to kick in. I think I'm going to say last week's episode, but I don't think it's going to be a week between episodes. It's probably going to be slightly longer, and I'm going to say last week because it was last week when I was in the park. So in the last episode, this is what we did: a teeny tiny little junior coaster, and I absolutely love it. It's a little bit too themed, it's a little bit too expensive for what we're trying to do right now, but let's go ahead and just blame Planet Coaster's theming ability. Like, let's just blame somebody else because that's how we do it here. But I do love the coaster. It's come together so perfectly. However, we need to draw our attentions to this week, and the construction fences are up, and it's something that I think maybe should have been episode 2 before we added the coasters. It's a petting zoo. We need to do a petting zoo. So as you can see, I've chosen the field at the back, and that's because the farm would be using the land that's not necessarily so profitable for them. You can see that this is kind of flooded in spaces. It's a little bit uneven. It's probably good for grazing, which is perfect for a petting zoo. The other fields we've got, by the way, this one here and this one here, they are very profitable for the farm right now. They would not want to be getting rid of these just yet. So let me talk you through what I'm thinking here, because this is a big old space, a big space. And you're going to need it because we're going to need lots of pastures and lots of fields, right? So first things first, I want to have some kind of, where's my 1 meter wall? There we go. I want some kind of like field-based thing. So I'm just going to leave a placeholder down here for what will be the shed for the animals, and it's only 8 meters by 8 meters. I'm taking inspiration here from Old MacDonald's farm in London, or the north end of London. I think it's like Watford way, I think, and they do theirs perfectly, right? So I'm literally going to copy the idea of their fields. I do also want to have some kind of main building, not so much as a farmhouse, but it would be a farmhouse, right? And it's going to contain a gift shop and a restaurant, and I'm going for 16 meters deep. And then I think if I split this in half, I think that's in half, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there you go. So I think that's going to be wide enough. And I mean, scale is going to get away with this here because this is quite a big area that we're working in. So just like the entrance, when I was like, oh, this is a little bit small, actually, I think this is probably going to be about right. So anyway, that's what we're going to want there. We're going to want toilets as well. So toilets. So I'm thinking 3 like that, right? So that's the size of the toilets. We are also going to need some kind of like petting thing. So the Old MacDonald's farm in London have this like middle ground petting area where they've got these square buildings, or this square building, and then the farm comes out like this, and then this would be the petting area, and it's symmetrical. So there would be like another one that's here. So this is like the service building bit, or the service part, and then these are the pens, and then the path and stuff comes around the outside. Am I making sense? I hope so. And then they're like this, right? So they're next to each other, and I think there's 8 of them. So I kind of want to have something similar. I don't quite know where it's going to go, because I think that might be too big. Because if we do in, that's 16 meters by 6, no, that's 12 meters by 12 meters at the moment. That's quite big for what we're doing for a petting zoo, but we'll go with it, right? The other thing I want to do is potentially have some kind of warehouse petting area. So again, old McDonald's farm does this really well. They've got like rabbits and tortoises and stuff in theirs. So I'm thinking we could probably do something very similar. So if I just repurpose this one, I'm thinking that it would be that kind of size. And then of course we're going to have loads of fields that are going to stick out the back here. I do also want to put some rides in, but I don't know what I'm going to do in terms of space. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment. First, let me make all of this make sense and we'll talk it through, right? So I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so I've made it all make a little bit of sense and scale has gotten away from me as I thought it was going to. There's our little guesty person that we always put in, and yeah, as you can see, this is all the right scale, but this gap between here, no, it's just not going to fly. Similarly, this one, it didn't need to be as big as it was. It doesn't need to be 16 by 16. 8 by 8 is sufficient with the bit in the middle here, right? So happy days. I am going to try my hand, by the way, at a maze. I'm going to leave that there so you can pause and see if you can find your way through it. It does have a solution. So I'm going to try a hedge maze in here. Here's going to be the warehouse. Here are the fields, and you can see that there are 2 additional rides. I kind of wanted guests to actually have a reason to come here. So we've got the vintage cars and we have a train, and technically there's a third. There's the go-karts in the background. If I've got space to squidge it in, then I might just squidge it in, particularly as scale is definitely going to run away with us, right? So if I bring this here, we don't need this level of gap between what is the field and the train ride here. So that means I'm going to squidge it all together and hope for the best. So what am I thinking in terms of area flow and stuff? So I am thinking that we're going to need to have an entrance that comes in this way. I am in the future also going to be developing this. I'm not going to draw the path because I want to retain the textures and stuff, but we are going to need to have an entrance that comes in here, and I think in the future when we expand there will be a pathway that comes through here. So they're going to be your 3 main entrance points, and then of course you're going to have the path that's going to come around this way like so. Well, that already tells you what the scale is going to be, because that's 17 meters wide. So yes, it's definitely going to need some kind of work. I think I'm going to want, by the way, some kind of patio area out the front here. So if I get my rock here, so patio area that's going to be in that kind of zone. I have put an extra building in here. I don't know if it's going to stay or if I'm going to use it as part of the expansion later on down here, because this might be where the go-karts could go. So I'm going to play out the whole thing and see what that's going to bring. But ultimately I'm going to need the queue line for the train ride there, and I'm going to need the queue line for the vintage cars coming in that sort of direction like that. So you can see that that's going to start, actually when I do it like that, you can see that it's going to come together quite nicely. But no, I will squidge it all together. So that's a lot of talking about a lot of stuff that I'm going to do. Let's actually go and do it. So I've got something to show you. See you in a minute. Well, doesn't this look different? My God, it is so different from the first update. It's come together really, really nicely. I'm so chuffed with how this is turning out. It's a proper little, like, petting zoo, and it's supposed to be tiny. We're not going for this grand thing. Remember, we're building stuff that we're just going to tear down later, so I don't want to be spending weeks on something that we're just going to get rid of. But I love it. I really, really like how this is turning out. So let me talk you through everything that I was trying to describe from the very beginning. This is the main building. This is the kind of look and feel that I'm going for here. I want it to have some kind of either tiled or scalloped roof, and I want this to be a glass roof. Then I want these to be little like eaves or what, little dormers or whatever that you call it. I have already put the restaurants in, and I have already connected them up to a lot of benches, and as you can see, the interior is largely done. I don't really want it to be any more than this. Again, we're going to be coming back and we're going to be retheming it or rekitting out the building, so I don't want to be doing lots of really fine intricate detail stuff just to come and change it. Sometimes just throwing it together is enough, and I'm happy with that, right? It's going to need a little bit of fine details. I'll come along and give it a little bit of more life, but basically I'm not going to spend a day kitting this out when it doesn't need it. This is the idea of the little like the little touch pens that I wanted to do. I love how this has turned out, right? I was doing some research into the old McDonald's farm piece, and they would have like a corridor in the middle here, and these would be private areas for the animals and stuff. Old me would have absolutely wanted to do the interiors of these and kit them out with everything. But guys, this is not Planet Zoo. Just remember that. I don't even know if and how I'm going to be able to do the animals. But I have been able to take some of the old school techniques that we always used to use, and I'm able to put them in now. We've got the Western stuff, so I've just put like a door here with some runners, and then of course now we've got resize. I can do the actual animal pen doors as well. So yes, I'm totally here for it. And the moss, thank you guys for the suggestions. The moss is brilliant at doing hay and straw on the concrete. It's absolutely perfect, so thank you for that suggestion. Really good shout. The fairy tale pack came with water troughs and stuff. Brilliant, so that absolutely works. And then this is the design of the building that I was going for. Just idea of brick, rough stone, giving it a bit of a topper, having an old wood style roof, guttering, all that's built into the wall, by the way. Built into the wall along with the pillars. Yeah, happy days. I'm all right with this. And then the pathway coming around this way and around the back so that you can actually see the other animals. It's sort of set aside, but it's in the way. Perfect. This is then the maze. I love how this has turned out. I need to do the floor textures and stuff, but how cool does that look? It's a shame that it's not usable, because it would be so cool to get guests going through. I did try, by the way. I did put path down. I had barriers and stuff, and I did try and put something the other side. I know I mentioned before I was going to, or that I'd done some preliminary work. I was just desperate to make it work. Yeah, the AI does not like it one bit. Even though there is a pathway through, it's sort of like, I don't even know, round this way, up round this way, down here, up and around, and that way, right? There is a pathway through. The AI did not like it, so I decided to bin it off. But I like how it looks from the top, so maybe in the future we're going to get some kind of update or some kind of DLC that has mazes in it. That would be awesome. This is the warehouse shed type thing. This is based on the one at the Cotswold Farm Park. It's really simple. And again, it's just a warehouse shed. Maybe in the future we're going to come along and we're going to put a face you on it and it's going to become a dark ride or something like that. But for now, it's just a petting area. I need to kit out inside here, and I need to finish this bit with windows and stuff. I haven't quite got my groove with this space yet. I'm not entirely sure how I want it to be, what I want it to look like. I don't just want to copy the idea of the Cotswold Farm Park, but actually that's good enough. I don't even know at the moment what level of detail I want to do. Do I want to do signs? Do I want to have animals? I don't know. I just don't know. I need to play out the inside in here first. I need to sort of like sit back. Remember, I'm on holiday, so I want to do an episode and I want to do stuff that I'm inspired to do. This is not inspiring me at the moment, but it's fine. It's a thing. I'm going to need to do some kitting out and some touching up of the outside, but ultimately I'm happy with how that is. These are the fields. These need detailing. I haven't put apart from the animal shelter there, I haven't put the extra animal shelters in. I haven't done any of the terrain. I don't even know what animals would be in here at the moment. Again, not Planet Zoo. But there would be something. I'll find it. But what I have done is I've done a really small version of the farm gate. And of course I've used the western gates along here. So that will come later. This is just a grab and go unit. Actually, I did the toilet unit first. I'll talk about that in a moment. Then I just copied it across, swapped out some grab and go stuff. And that's because we've got a restaurant, as you saw. It's got 4 units to it, but there's no grab and go stuff. And the game does like the odd grab and go stuff. So fine, I'm happy with that. Deal with it, whatever. It just needed to be the same building just for consistency, so I like it. This I love, absolutely love. I was adamant, absolutely adamant. I didn't want to do an American style barn. because it's a British park, and I have nothing against the American style barns, by the way. I just didn't want to do it. But it wasn't until I started to piece together how a British style barn, which is very similar in design, it's very similar in shape. I just happened to colour it red and white, and I was like, do you know what? It's actually looks all right. So it stays. I admit defeat. It stays, and I'm happy with that. I do just need to do scenery and stuff inside the go-kart track, make it all make sense, because the prestige on these isn't actually that great. I think there's one of the tweaks that they've made from Planet Coaster 1 is just the prestige system for the go-karts is different. Then we've got our train ride. I do want to have animals inside here. Again, don't even know what animal it would be, but I have fenced it off so that we can house animals. I have changed the layout slightly so I could add a third train. The timings were slightly off, and so I wanted there to have the ability to be something loading at all times rather than having any downtime. I mean, it's a farm park, so they probably wouldn't care that much about it, but it's quite important I did that. So yeah, I've just changed the track and it now works, as you can see. And the station, it's a really simple design. I'm actually just copying across the idea of the American farm stuff. Likewise with the tractor ride. Tractor ride's a little bit more kitted out. I just need to do the grass and the foliage on this. This is basically everything that this would be. Doesn't need to be any more than that. The queue is fairly simple. It's all just like wooden fencing, and then there's the station. Needs its detailing. Happy days. There's the Chateau toilets, and it's slightly different because I actually wanted it just to be units that would face out. You guys asked me, by the way, about privacy screens and how we do corridors and stuff, and how we ensure privacy inside the toilets. We can do it in Planet Coaster. You essentially would just need like a wall that would be like 2 meters wide, but it throws your scale off. That's why I don't do it. I could put a privacy screen up very, very easily. I have done in toilets in the past, but yeah, you throw the AI off, and you throw the game off slightly. So that's just why I don't do it. They're good enough as they are. I mean, it's just a toilet. At the end of the day, I know I'm famous for doing my interiors, but come on guys, there's a limit. And then this is the gift shop. I like this. I did want to do lots of detailing in here. I had every intention of like doing a proper custom gift shop. It wasn't until I started to throw the stuff down, and again, I'm supposed to be on holiday, but I was throwing the stuff down. I was like, do you know what? This is good enough. This does what it needs to do. Coloured brown is fine. Like, it's fine, and it's big, right? It's a big old gift shop. What I've done is I've joined, I've got to get this the right way around. I've joined those two together, those three together, those two together, those two together, and then this is an overflow. And essentially, it's 40, it's 20, how many? It's 40, isn't it? 20 restaurant tables, 40 gift shop stuff. So there's 40 shelves attached to each one anyway, is what I'm saying. They're all full. And I think I've got one of pretty much everything on sale apart from the pool stuff, because we don't, well, there's a couple of pool stuffs here, but we don't have pools. But yeah, so I'm okay with this. It just needs a bit of fine detailing just to bring it to life a little bit, but call it done. Like, yeah, I don't really want much else to be done with it. And I have just started to put an idea of where the paths and stuff are going to go. I think I am going to continue the gravel. I did have the thought of using the pathway gravel, but I actually think, where is it? There we go. No, where? It's this one, isn't it? I actually think that if I could merge the gravel here with a little bit of the long grass there, I think that's probably going to work, because I want there to be soft boundaries, right? If I just remove the intensity, I want there to be some soft boundaries where it's not clearly defined, but the fence has just been put up. Maybe there's a little bit of wear and tear. This feels so much better than me using the gravel path. There we go, because it just gives, like, yes, it's much tidier and it looks far more put together, far more kempt, but there's just this barrier. And I know there's stuff you can do. You guys have mentioned about using the moss and whatever, colouring it grey and it looks like gravel and stuff, but it still doesn't feel right. Not, at least not as right as this anyway, because I can then, as you can see, I can put the mud and stuff in as well to give it a little bit of wear and tear. It gives it just that little bit more personality. As we do the path, as we do the park throughout the time, of course it's going to all be paved over. It's going to be brick. It's going to be whatever. But for now, I think that fits as it is. So there you go. That's how we're sitting at the midway point. The sun is out. It's actually quite warm. We're expecting storms tomorrow, so I'm going to go to the beach. That's exactly what I'm going to do. You guys come in? I'll see you down there. Otherwise, I'll see you in a minute. Right then, you guys, fair warning, I have just spent the weekend singing along to actual Mariah Carey, who was at Brighton Pride, and also Loreen off of Eurovision, so I'm a little bit husky. I quite like my husky voice, my sticky shoes. But I am also done, or at least as done as I want to be. I will explain that in a moment. But guys, welcome to the petting farm. Yay, we have a petting farm. I love how this has turned out. It's just actually didn't think it was going to be like this. When I was laying everything down, I was a little bit unsure, but I'm here for it. I absolutely like it. Right, so let me do the honors. We are officially open. Yes, let me show you around. I don't even know where to begin. We're going to start down here, I think, because this is the main building, right? So this is exactly as I wanted it to be. I'm still leaning into this idea of not decorating too much, because, again, you have to over-decorate Planet Coaster for it to look good. But the real-life counterpart that I'm taking inspiration from doesn't have even as much detail as this. So I'm steering into that, and I'm okay with that. But this is the glass awning I wanted. I'm happy that that's there. It's creating, well, it's not really shade, is it? Let's be honest. If you're sat out here in the middle of summer, you are not going to want to sit there. But at least when it rains, because, you know, it's Britain, it rains a lot in our summer, at least you're going to have some kind of shelter. And on the outside, I have also just put a load of umbrellas and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's all there. I'm not entirely convinced about the stone patio. I mean, it looks just as good with or without it. I'm keeping it for now, and of course we're going to come along and do some different bits to the pathing and stuff. So I think over time it will make sense. But right now, not sold. But I'm also not inclined to change it. Can't be bothered. So inside, not much has happened. Ceiling's gone up. Some lights have gone up. Bit of kitting out and decorating and whatever. Again, we're going to be kitting this out in a couple of weeks' time anyway, so it's fine. We're just going to keep it that way. So the actual petting pens then, or the outside petting pens, love how these have turned out. Now that all the terrain and stuff is all done, it all just makes sense. By the way, I've decided not to do animals. I can't get onto the workshop at the moment. That's why the Portside Pier and this park hasn't been updated yet, or at least at the time of filming this video, it hasn't been updated yet. It's not Planet Zoo, and I don't want to play Planet Zoo, so I'm literally just making these facsimiles. They're just there to represent it. I mean, they're not identical. They're not copy and paste or anything. They are different enough to be there. So yeah, but now the terrain and stuff is down. I like it. Like, I love the terrain I love the terrain in Planet Coaster, let's be honest. But the terrain in these games, Planet Coaster, Planet Coaster 2 and Planet Zoo, is incredible. The way that it blends and the way you can do stuff is like, oh, it's awesome. Like this bit here. You can just have the wear and tear, and you can just represent the wear and tear. I would love this to be pristine because it's a brand new area, but in reality, even on day one, it's going to end up looking like this because it's mud and it's gravel on mud. So happy days. So yeah, this is the details that I've just put in here. Just a little bit of light touching up, a couple of floodlights and stuff, and then call it done. And then I think the straw was already down, wasn't it? So that's fine. Here's the maze. I've again just done the path texture, and I've just put a few trees and stuff around the outside. And then this is the petting farm. This is the forgive the pun. This is the elephant in the room. I've done the outside, right, and I've taken inspiration from the Cotswold farm park, and they don't even have signs on the outside of this because it's a working farm. So this is going to be a working warehouse. It just so happens that guests can go and see it. I've just put some information boards on the outside. I've stolen the images from Google. They could be telling us to go and create atrocities against children before I know. I haven't proofread any of this stuff. So all I did was just searched for farm information boards and downloaded it. So fine, whatever. But inside, it's not done. I just don't have the inspiration to do it. I'm not going to force it because I'm on holiday. It is what it is. Fine. Outside looks just as good. be done with it. Likewise with these fields here. This is exactly how these fields are in old McDonald's farm up in London. So, like, even though this looks really bare bones and minimal and there's not much here, they don't. It's a farm. It's fields. That's it. Simple as. What I have done, though, is taken the care and the effort to do all of the terrain work just to make it, you know, look like it's an actual working farm. I don't know where the animals would be right now. We don't have them. I'm not inclined to do them. Can't get onto the workshop to find any. So, done. So there's the food unit. I don't know if I mentioned this before about it being Viva La Vegan, but the reason that in case I haven't, because it's been a while since I filmed the last update. In case I haven't, I chose Viva La Vegan because, of course, we're producing our own produce, right? Our own veg and stuff. So it just makes sense that you would have some kind of store that would be selling it. So there you go. That's what I've done. Viva La Vegan. There's the go-karts. I don't like the tanks, but removing them makes it feel weird. It needs something there. I can't find the water tanks that we had in Planet Coaster 1, which I thought was part of the Western pack, but might not be. So anyway, you know the round ones I used to use for the rapids, I don't think it's in Planet Coaster 2. If they are, then I'm definitely going to swap them out, but I can't find them, so these will stay for now. I mean, it's fine. But yeah, there's the go-karts. Just inside, I've just put a roof up. I have just put some spotlighting and stuff because, of course, it gets quite dark in there. But I'm all right with that. And then the outside here, I've just actually made it wind through the bit of a foresty bit. Like, it felt like this needed to be foresty because Shiftzie had already put the forest and stuff here. So I kind of wanted to start to bleed the forest into the farm park. So that's why this is a bit more tree-lined than perhaps you would normally find. And then I just wanted to put the go-karts through it, just to, well, partly because of the scenery rating for the ride, and partly just because it looks all right. So here's the gift shop then. I like how this has turned out. It's nice and simple. I wanted it to feel like it might have been a gift shop that had been extended over time, and that's why we've got this little porch area here. And I just put lots of signs and stuff on the windows just to say, hey, come and buy stuff, please. And then inside here, now, I don't remember how much of this was done again, but now that it's all done, I'm happy with how this looks inside here. Again, ceiling has gone up, lights have gone up, a few posters and stuff on the window. Brought this to life a little bit. And again, we're probably going to come along and repurpose this building at some point anyway, so I don't want to put too much effort into something I'm just going to destroy. But I also want to make it look decent enough to be decent, right? So there you go. That's what we've got. But what I have done as well, so I wanted to put clutter and stuff on the outside, and I thought, well, actually, I could make it functional. I saw this thing, I don't know where I saw it, it was whilst I've been in Pride, so it's somewhere in Brighton, that it's like a gift shop, but they actually put a pay unit outside to try and catch passing trade. So that's kind of what I've done here. Just put all of an extra bits of gift shop and stuff. You know, the really small cluttery type stuff. People that just pick up trinkets and whatever as they go along. And then there's a little unit outside here. It would be wheeled in and out as and when it's needed. It's just the ability for people just to really quickly buy something rather than having to browse a gift shop. Monetization, people. It's all about money. So there you go. That's what I've done there. And then, of course, you've just got the tractor ride. Well, I'm calling it a tractor ride. It's a vintage car ride. It's a tractor ride. By the way, I can't tell you where the tractor came from because it came with the Shiftzie original. So if you're going to download the Shiftzie original park, then you'll be able to get the tractor as well. But I like how this is. Now it's got the grass down. Now it's got the rhododendrons down. And if you know me, you know I love a good rhododendron. Rhododendron and buddleia are my two favourite flowers. Absolutely amazing in the summer. Yeah, so just a bit of rhododendron and stuff down just to give it a little bit of bulk, but other than that, happy days. I did just get rid of her. I did also decide, by the way, that all of the queues were going to be gravel rather than stone. It didn't feel right as stone when I was putting them down, so I've kept them as gravel, and it looks all right. And I mean, people are busy doing what they need to do around here, right? So happy days. And then the train just been recolored. I was never going to keep it the in-game colors. It was a bit too vibrant, a bit too bright. But I've just made the animal pen inside a little bit more worn, and I've just done a little bit of touching up on the outside. And again, this is the idea of having the texture where you can actually start to bleed stuff through, and it makes it look relatively natural. So I'm here for it. So I think that's actually everything. Oh no, there's a couple of it actually. So I have just made this pathway open. Again, it's the farm road, so it would be used during the outside of operating hours, but it's quite wide because again it's a farm, right? But I have just put some vending machines and stuff along the way. I don't think we would necessarily need them because you've got a food unit here, you've got a food unit here, and you've got a food unit here. But sometimes you just want to have some kind of grab and go. And I've also done that here with the vending machine as well, just to break up the area. And then there's the toilets, by the way. So these are the toilets that I put in this area. You wouldn't necessarily need toilets here or here in this area because you've got such big toilets at the front of the farm park. So now we've got toilets here and we've got toilets at the back. So you've now, I don't know, right? So when we develop this area, I think there would be toilets in this kind of area, but I don't really know yet until I develop it out. As you can tell, I've sort of run out of steam. I do have, however, inspiration for something that's coming next week, and I think we're going to do the first redevelopment. I think it's going to be this area here. I've got an idea for the first major ride that would need to be put into this place, that would also probably last until the theme park becomes a theme park, right? So it'd be one of the first big scary rides that was put in that would still be there when this Alton Towers style thing happens. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to need to go and sleep on that, I think. In fact, I just need to go and sleep in general. So, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. I really do appreciate it. As always, leave a like, comment, do the usual stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we're building a farm into a theme park. I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.